Hello, hello, and welcome back to the Money Hungry Mama podcast. I am so excited because today I have Jamie. Jamie, take it away.
I am Jamie Lobban. I am a full-time teacher turned entrepreneur, coincidentally. I have many side hustles. So we're going to get into that today. I'll talk about Makeup by Jamie Lo, as well as some seasonal work that I do with RJ Bunny Visits out of Monmouth County. I am a mom of two. I've been married to my wonderful husband for 10 years. We have two little boys. Carter is 7 and Brooks is 4, almost 5. And everything I do is for them.
Oh my gosh, I love that so much. How sweet. All right. So w- let's talk. You've worn so many hats: teacher, makeup artist, business owner, mom. Walk us through the journey from high school cosmetology to classroom to glampreneur.
I was really interested in cosmetology and I kind of always knew I wanted to go to school as well, but I wasn't really sure. So a lot of my high school years, junior and senior year, I spent a lot of time in the cosmetology room. And I can still remember my guidance counselor, telling me like, well, because you're doing this, like, you don't really have a shot to go to school. Like this is sort of like, you have to do this. This is it for you. And it felt terrible. I was,
Mm.
upset and, just sort of always felt like I could use my talents for so many different things. And so didn't listen to her, applied and got into any school that I, wanted to go to.
Amazing.
But I always had that love for cosmetology and I kept up with my license and went to college, worked at a hair and nail salon while I was in school. So I got a lot of experience and turned into an English teacher who then used my cosmetology license to, become a freelance makeup artist. I really wasn't as passionate about hair. My sister does that actually full time, which helps me out because we can work weddings together doing hair and
Oh,
makeup. Yeah. So that was kind of how I got started in all this.
I mean, that is like such a gut punch to hear, you're never going to be able to do anything else. And I'm so
Mm-hmm.
glad that they were so wrong. So wrong. I
Yeah.
love it. Did you always imagine juggling multiple income streams, or did motherhood and life kind of shape that path for you?
You just hit it on the head.
Yeah.
So, after we had our first son, things were okay, but the economy started to shift and change around that time, and my husband works in sales. So, it became like really I always say like it's like riding a roller coaster even now.
Mm.
And so that was a lot of what shaped what I do and what I do for my family. So once we had our second son, Brooks, things became really hard because as much as we have a small village and we do have some help, both of our kids are in childcare. That was
Mm.
such a hard pill to swallow. I don't know how to say it, but it was just really, became very stressful for us financially. And so I started to think about how I could use my license and other talents, of course, to, have multiple streams of income.
Yeah, honestly, daycare is a killer. We were just looking at that today. It makes me want to throw up. It's insane. It's literally nuts.
Yeah, we still have our little one in daycare. He's going to kindergarten in September. So we're still in it.
Oh my gosh. Almost there. Almost there. So, what does a day in the life look like now, juggling teaching, makeup
Oh
clients, and
gosh.
seasonal hustle?
Oh gosh. So a lot of what I do for Makeup by Jamie Lo is at night. I am a person that gives 100% to anything that I want to do. And that's my biggest piece of advice to others. Don't do anything
Mhm.
halfway. If you want to do it, make it something you're passionate about. And am such a passionate teacher. My students also know though that I wear all these hats and I tell them, I can pass that message to them. You can be so many different things. You don't have to
Yeah.
fit in a box. Do it all, do everything. They're so cute. They'll follow my Instagram and they're like, you do such beautiful work. Like they'll ask me, I teach middle school, how do you juggle it all? A lot of it is done at night, late afternoons. I really keep it very much when I'm teaching, I'm present. I'm 100% there for my students. When I'm being a mom, I'm present 100%. When I am responding to clients, I try to be, how would I say, like as organized as possible. I always require that they send me an email inquiry. I respond to
Mm.
all emails one day a week I'll take to do that. And so I really is a balance, but you can do it. That's my advice to anyone. You can do it. You just have to figure it out.
Yeah. Honestly, it's so true, especially like when I feel like a lot of people that have been on here, like we have so many multi passions, right? And I do think
Mhm.
we were all born super creative. That there's so many avenues that we can go down and trying new things. I think there's nothing ever wrong with just trying it all and then seeing what you like the most. Speaking of
Absolutely.
trying it all, what drew you to makeup specifically with cosmetology?
I really liked the part of hair that I liked was highlighting. I was very
Mhm.
into color and highlighting and wasn't really into cutting, didn't understand the angles. It just was not for me. I was had no talent in that area and was very vocal about it. When I first went to college, I thought, I'd be a business major and own a salon. And so that kind of shifted and changed for me because not that I lost the passion, but I always saw myself doing hair. I didn't think about makeup. And
Mhm.
you know what? The pandemic was a really big influence for me because I was home. I was, trying different things out on myself. I had really little kids, so when they were in bed, I was bored and, I'm juggling different things and I'm trying different looks on myself. And once, the pandemic sort of calmed down and things opened up again, I started taking makeup classes. And I'd go on Instagram and I'd find, the really amazing artists in my area, some in South Jersey, and I would go and take these classes with girls who had, 10,000, 20,000 followers on Instagram. And that was sort of how it happened. Cause like I said, and I'll keep saying it, I'm not going to do anything halfway. If I'm going to do
Yeah,
it, I want to be good at it. I never want to false advertise for anybody. I never want to feel like I am an imposter. I want to feel like I belong. And so I feel like education is key and being the
100%.
best that you can be is so important. It's not just about the hustle, it's hustling, but also being really smart about it and also putting your best self out there, the best version of yourself or whatever it is that you offer somebody.
Yeah, no, you hit the nail on the head. Education is key. I feel like you did it the right way too. You literally went to classes, first off, in person. Second off, with people that had the recommendations and the
Mhm.
clients and the people under their belt to be like, okay, this is not somebody just trying to sell me something. This is somebody that really knows what they're doing. And
Right.
bravo, I have never noticed anybody offer classes and stuff. So that is like
Mhm.
really doing your research. That's amazing.
Yeah, and some of these girls would even like if I felt like I didn't belong. I was like, you got they were phenomenal. That's why I was taking the classes with them. And some of them I'd message on Instagram like, "Hey, I came to your class. I have this question." They'd call me on the phone and answer it. And like it was really like I had such a good experience with so many different makeup artists, really. So I have to thank them too.
Yeah, that makes my heart so happy. Like, to not only be a teacher, but really want to see your clients succeed. Wow.
Mhm.
That's so, oh yeah. So anybody in here that's listening that's like thinking to themselves, like, I might want to teach other people how to do it that way. Be that
Do
person
it.
that's, going to think about and remember and talk about on a podcast because that's fantastic. How do
Absolutely.
you, now that you have your own business, now that you're running your own makeup business, how do you make your clients feel not just beautiful, but seen and cared for? Like, what's your specialty?
I feel like connection is so important, you know,
Mm-hmm.
and especially like, I work with so many different women, just connecting and talking about being moms. And, I'm just very real with my clients. I find that so many of us are struggling with the same things. I have a lot in common with a lot of the moms that I work with or work on, I work for with my, clients.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
And really just like connecting with them, being real with them, seeing them.
Like when you think about like going to weddings and you're going to get your makeup done, I love when I'm in that makeup chair and by the end of it, like we're friends on Facebook. I'm like, yeah, you know what?
Yeah.
I'm invested in your life now. The last wedding I was in, she was talking about how she was getting married. I was like, oh my gosh, I need to see pictures. And we just instantly friended each other right there because I was so
Mhm.
invested on her proposal, everything. It's so like cool when you get those in person connections. It's almost like girl in the bathroom
Yeah.
vibes, to go out when we were younger and you were
It
like,
could
oh, I love your shirt.
it could be anything. Like it could be connecting about music. A lot of times I'm in rooms and there's music playing and like, oh, like who's your favorite artist? Like what concerts are you going to? Like anything like that that you can
Yeah.
connect with somebody. I feel like it makes the appointment go really a lot better.
Yeah, for sure. For sure. What is one misconception that people have in the beauty business that you wish that could be corrected?
Ooh, there's a lot. So there's a few different things, and I don't want to talk about the negative, but there's a lot, and
Yeah.
it's funny because a lot of these accounts will put up videos, and I laugh because I'm like, oh my goodness, there's a lot of expectations on makeup
Mhm.
artists and hairdressers, and a lot of, and sort of just, I feel like we're a little misunderstood, if that makes sense. So I have to like think of some examples. This is a tough one because there's so many things that I could say. I would say that sometimes people don't take into account like how much time and effort goes into the booking process and
Mhm.
also how much time and effort goes into travel time. A lot of people will push back on travel fees and they have like just no understanding. Like I've been in the car for an hour and a half and people will get like upset. They really don't sometimes understand why
Mhm.
there's a travel fee or sometimes they don't value the time of a makeup artist and
Mhm.
so it can be a little bit of like a kick, like how do I want to
Yeah.
say, like a punch in the gut. It feels like we just want to be valued, and I feel
Yeah.
like a lot of times the beauty industry in general is people are not valued.
Yeah, I mean, it's such a shame too. I ended up on that side of, I don't know if you have a TikTok, but I've ended up on that side of TikTok where I am all of a sudden with, watching these hairdressers and these
Hmm.
beauticians with their stories, and it breaks my heart because how can you, I just don't understand how somebody can talk to another human being like that.
Yeah, it's that too. Like I said, I kind of stopped myself because there were so many different things I could say, but the value
Yeah.
factor is crazy. It's crazy
Yeah.
the way that we're talked to, kind of looked down upon in a sense, and
Oh
it's
my goodness.
very sad. And my sister is also a full-time hairdresser.
Wow.
So I hear stories from her too. It's both of us
Yeah.
who are just like and that's kind of nice that we could at least bond about it and say like, how could
Yeah.
I deal with this situation that happened? And so it's nice to have that support.
For sure. I really do. And I know I've said this a lot for everybody that's listening, and we're quite a few episodes in at this point. But when you're in a client facing business, you
Hmm.
have two pulls. You have one where you're going to walk away being friends for life with some of your clients, being that person that's like, oh my gosh, like you did something that was so incredible that they're going to remember forever. But then you
Yes.
also will, and I want to say it's true. Like you're always going to have, even if it's just one, there is going to be a negative that happens where it's, not the best. And it's just
Hmm.
because, and I will keep saying this over and over, that people sometimes just, for no good reason, there's no excuse, but sometimes, they take things out on other people. Maybe they're going through something. Maybe we're not going to give them the benefit of the doubt, and maybe they're just a mean person. But you can't think that, especially in a client facing business, every situation is
Yeah.
going to be roses, but it doesn't matter because I personally believe that, like, if I have a great interaction with one person, that I'm going to take with me forever. Eventually, I'm going to forget about that moment that I was sad or upset.
Oh yeah.
But that great moment, I feel like is so worth it, especially if you're chasing your passion.
On the
For
flip
sure.
side, though, and I agree with everything you said. On the flip side, sometimes you have a negative, not even
Yeah.
interaction, but let's say like an appointment doesn't go as well as planned. And I've
Mhm.
had that where I've done a trial and I'm like, this girl's not going to book me. Like this did not look good. And sometimes it's not things of my own doing. It's like there wasn't proper skincare, she
Yeah.
needed facials, like exfoliating. There's lots of different things that could go wrong. So it's interesting because sometimes just and then we get back to like having that connection. Sometimes they'll just trust me. Like if I say like, hey, if you go for 3 months regularly and get your facials, like I know that I could get your skin to look, different or a different, like meet your expectations better. And so sometimes it ends up being like the best. I've booked brides that way where I'm like, oh my gosh, I hated her trial. Like, she's not having a good skin day. Like it's not great situation, and again, it's not always something that I'm doing wrong, but just,
Yeah.
and a lot of times in
Situation.
the winter, yep, dry skin, a lot of
Oh,
times.
gosh.
So sometimes it's a good outcome because you kind of get
Yeah.
this vibe of like it's not going to be great, and then it really is. They really trust you and value what you have to say.
For sure, and I think, like, when it comes to makeup, I feel like as women, we all know, like, we have bad days. Like, I know
Oh
for a
yeah.
fact. Like, I mean, right
Me
now, anybody
too.
that's just listening, I have 0 makeup on. It's because I had 2 days of full cover makeup. There was no way I was getting a 3rd
Yeah,
nice one. It just wasn't happening. So, like, I just feel like
absolutely.
we know. So that's why, they're putting the trust in you is so fantastic too, because that just means that
Hmm.
they are valuing your expertise in this topic.
Yeah.
No, 100%, 100%. Okay,
And
let's
so
do a little
that's a good
shift.
feeling. Go ahead.
No, for sure. Especially like, just seeing the value in who you are, knowing that you know what you're talking about. No, for sure. For
Hmm.
sure.
Absolutely.
I'm going to ask, when it comes to finding clients and marketing, what is, something that you really do find that works well for the makeup business?
Honestly, nothing beats word of mouth. Nothing beats it.
Yeah.
Word of mouth, but you have to start somewhere. So
Hmm.
I will say that I will actually have, and I have some of these days upcoming as my teacher role lessons for the summer. I need a break from that, where I will just do content days and I will have models come in because I am a person that I cannot stand a camera in my face. Like, oh, listen, I'm super nice. I'll do whatever you want me to do. But I'm
Yeah.
not somebody that's like, yeah, like super excited about it.
Yeah.
And so I feel uncomfortable filming while I'm working. I think it's really, really hard. And I'm sure that it doesn't always make everybody, and I ask, but I'm sure it doesn't make everybody feel comfortable. So I would say, having content days where you just focus on whatever type of look and whatever type of client you're trying to attract. If you want to do proms and you want to do bridal makeup, you need to bring in some of the young clientele and really do those specific looks. And you have to market that way. I don't spend really money per se on like advertising or anything like
Hmm.
that. I'm in Facebook groups, constantly putting myself out there. And then people that I know or have used me will, recommend me or see that I was tagged in something and they'll write. So it's a lot of different ways, but I would say the biggest thing is like being visible, posting.
Yeah.
Yeah, does that make sense? It's a lot. It's
Yeah, but I love that. I love that because I never, would have thought of having like a content day where like you're
yeah.
getting a bunch of seniors to come in and you're doing
Mhm.
their makeup and you're filming it and you're getting all of that because you can literally get so many people to come in and just make enough content for the next like couple months to just put out there.
Absolutely. Yeah.
My gosh,
And
such a brilliant.
it's not stressful because I'm not charging the person. They're just coming in. Their literal only job is to be my model. Sit in that chair, do whatever I ask you to do. And they do, they're like, hey, I'm getting my makeup done. But I'll always say, like, this is the type of look I'm going for. Are you comfortable with it? There's
Mhm.
questions that I'll ask, of course. I don't just start slapping makeup on their face. But so there's a consultation, but it's pretty cool. And there are so many people willing to,
Oh
to do
yeah.
that. So yeah.
Oh, 100%. I feel like who doesn't want to get their makeup done? It's like, yeah, for sure.
Exactly.
Sit me down in that chair.
That
I got
was
you.
yeah, that was how I started. So after I started, did all the makeup classes and things like that, I started asking some of my mom friends because we were in our like early 30s at that time, and I'm like, yeah, it'll work. Like you guys look like brides. Come on, and that was how I kind of started.
Oh my gosh.
Mhm.
Oh my gosh. Brilliant. Brilliant. So let's make a shift. We're going to go to the RJ Bunny visits, which is such a brilliant and unexpected side hustle. How did you come up with that idea and what does it look like behind the scenes?
Okay, so that started during the pandemic. I
Okay.
had a lot of my income cut that year. So, to get in some of the numbers, I was making an extra 40 to $45 a day at my job as a behavior interventionist. So basically, like I'd meet with some of the kids from a certain grade level and was dealing with some consequence and things like that. It's almost like a mini admin position. So they pay you at like an hourly rate every day. So once the pandemic hit, obviously I'm not meeting with these kids. There's no need for it anymore. And so I'm sort of like, oh my gosh, just like that, it's cut.
Yeah.
I also missed the kids. So it was a combination of different things. I really missed the kids. I really missed seeing them every day. The screen wasn't really my
Mm.
vibe. I teach middle school. Those kids did not want their cameras on. I know at elementary some of the kids were there and excited, but that wasn't my experience. It was pretty terrible. I also
Yeah.
had a very small baby. I had Brooks in September and we were virtual that entire year. So
Wow.
he was home with me the whole time. So I was sleep deprived, I was exhausted. I was kind of miserable, not because I was miserable, but because of the circumstances. It was just not
Mm.
ideal. Really missed the kids. And so I said to my husband, I said, how people do like those character like things like birthday parties? I said, what if I said, things are starting to open up because now as we're getting into March, April, we thought like, oh, it'll be okay. This was the following year, like after 2020. So
Yeah.
2021. Yeah. So I said to him, things are opening up, but people are not really comfortable. Would you dress up like a bunny for me? And he's wonderful and said yes. That
Wait
was
a
kind of
minute.
how
Why a bunny though? Why was that the one
Oh,
that you
I'm sorry.
chose?
I missed that whole part. It was during Easter time. It was during Easter time.
Okay,
Yes.
okay.
Yeah, because I didn't wanna do birthday parties. I wanna do something that was only a few weeks, because here's my other thing that I didn't talk about, but it has to do with Makeup by Jamie Lo as well. They both have this in common. Whatever I'm going to do on the side needs to be minimal time away from my kids and worth the money. Those are my 2 things. Like, it has to be worth it financially, and I can't be missing a ton of time with my kids. So I was like, "Okay, we'll do this for 3 weekends and then we're done. No, that's
Yeah.
we're gonna go hard for 3 weekends. I'm gonna put that money away for the summer or whatever we need it for. And that's it." So that was how it all started. But I kind of said, "You can't talk in the suit." I mean, it's so silly, but it's also, when I tell people, they're like, "This is genius." Like, my coworkers are like, "What? This is amazing." And now this year we started Santa visits, by the way. Oh,
Whoa!
yeah.
Expanding.
Oh, yeah, we're expanding. We're expanding. So, that was really how it started. It was, how can I use my teacher talents, because I come along with him because he can't talk. So I'll
Yeah.
do like add-on things like crafts with the kids, read alouds, and so it became me again using my teacher hat to do something
Uh,
that's beneficial to both parties. Oh,
yeah.
yeah, I enjoy it. It's funny because, like, we'll kind of complain about it, like, "Oh my gosh, like, we have to go to, like, 15 houses today." And then once we start, we're like, we both look at each other, and we're like, "This is the cutest thing ever." It
So, how
really
long is one of your visits?
so I we started out just doing like 20-minute quick visits, but then this last year we added on the arts and crafts, so that adds like an additional 20 minutes. So they're between 20 and 45. I did like packages. So with like the basic package, we just come in, I'll give like a little treat. He's, doing his little buddy thing. We take photos and then we leave. That's like 20 minutes. The longer one will be like about 45 minutes. I'll read aloud to the kids. We'll sit down and do arts and crafts with them, and, still the other things like, taking pictures with them. And it's really, really cute, honestly.
Oh
Yeah,
my goodness. That's really sweet.
it
That's so
is.
fun. And my next question was like, you mentioned like that your teaching degree helped you in running this business and setting it up, but I feel like you've already said that you brought in the craft, you brought in the book.
Right.
Like, is there anything else that your teaching degree kind of threw into this hat?
No, I think that, I don't know. Maybe my organizational skills. I mean, managing again, because it's the same thing, just like Makeup by Jamie Lo. I'm constantly like on the email, scheduling out, and things like that. So just like kind of my type A teacher organizational skills also help run it very smoothly, because it's a
Yeah.
it's a lot of it's a lot of moving parts. I'll sometimes get people who will book something with me and then say, "Oh my gosh, I forgot that my son has a basketball game, can we do it on this date instead?" And so it's a lot. It's also calculating travel time. And so you have to be very on top of it and very organized, for sure.
Yeah, for sure. For sure. What advice do you have for moms trying to turn seasonal ideas or family friendly entertainment into income?
That's tough, because we just do more of like the holidays. And I know people do like
Mhm.
birthday parties and things like that. I would say keep it simple to start. Keep it simple. Think of one thing that you can offer somebody and expand from there, because we've seen some families going on. This was our 5th year. Yeah, this
Wow.
was the 5th year that yeah, so we've seen kids like literally grow. Some of them they'll age out. The parents will say like, I don't think it's for us anymore, but maybe my neighbors. So maybe just like start small, start somewhere.
Yeah. Just start.
Think of
Just start.
think of something that you're excited. But again, I go back to that passion. Like, you have to
Mhm.
want to do it. It's hard work, but it's worth it. And I don't know, for me, bringing joy to kids is like what it's all about. So,
No, for sure. Such a teacher heart. Such a teacher heart,
yeah.
for sure. Oh my gosh.
It
So
never shuts off, literally, never. The teacher is
you meant
always here.
oh yeah. No. Yeah. I don't think it can shut off, especially
Mm-mm.
like, I started in elementary and now it's like I'm sitting here running a podcast trying to teach moms how to do stuff. I just don't I think once a teacher, you just want to help everybody. It
Oh,
just
yeah.
kind of through your veins.
Definitely, definitely.
You mentioned having to think outside the box for things like childcare and camp. What has helped you stay afloat and keeping your kids supported when you're doing these events?
Honestly, my parents. My
Okay.
parents, they know that we do it and they help us. I don't ask them for a lot, but like when we're working, they're very willing to help us. I don't do a
Okay.
lot socially. I would like to do more. My hands are a little bit full, right? We're a little bit full. My calendar is full right now.
Yeah.
but they're very helpful and they're very, very encouraging. And so, I have them to thank for allowing me to do these things. And then when I'm doing makeup, my husband, I really lean on him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it does. It takes a village. It really honestly does. How was the financial uncertainty since the pandemic shape the way your family approaches earning and spending? Because we leaned a lot into that today.
Yeah, we've definitely like dialed back on a lot and if, are trying to, because I'm still tackling student loans.
Yeah.
I on top of all of this, I earned my master's degree in school administration in 2020.
Whoa.
Yeah, I didn't mention that. In 2023.
What?
Took on new student loans.
Mm.
So we definitely have dialed back. Like, we used to have a house cleaner. I'm like, nope, we're not doing that anymore. Like really just trying to be strategic with what we're using the income for. So now it looks like baseball and soccer and the extracurriculars. And really, like, that is what my side hustle right now contributes to, if that makes sense. Just a lot of it's really for it always goes back to my kids. Just like, how can I make their life better and easier than I had it? Always.
Oh my goodness. I love that framing. How do I make their life better than how I had it? Oh my God.
Always.
Beautiful. Beautiful. Yeah, love that. So, your main message is using your skills and do what you love to create opportunities. When did that mindset
Yeah.
really for you?
So I can think of two examples. I actually wrote it down before because I was like, what did I want to do before I did these things and really put my whole heart
Yeah.
into it? And so I had my husband busts my chops about this all the time too. He's like, what about those Etsy shops? So for the longest time, I was like, I'm going to make chalkboard wine bottles, right? And I would collect all these wine bottles. Never made them because I wasn't passionate about it. And then
Yeah.
I wanted to do the next thing, the next side hustle I thought about was I have the crayon one. I'll talk about that, but I feel like I wanted to make soaps. I'm like, I'm gonna make soaps. I'm gonna make oatmeal soaps. It's gonna be great. That's still using my cosmetology license. I'm gonna make soaps. Nope, never bought the ingredients, never really had the drive and passion for it. Like I
Yeah.
said, it just always goes back. When you want to do something, you do it.
Mm.
Then I thought I'll make name crayons and sell them, right? Like I'll bust up crayons, I'll
Oh,
put them in
yeah.
the oven. Yeah, you've seen them, right? So cute. Turns out don't really care for it. Don't didn't want didn't want to make all those letters, it just I had lots of ideas, but really it
Hmm.
was like, what am I really good at? What am I willing to put the work and time and effort into? And what is going to make me happy and also be beneficial to my children?
100%. So, for that mama that's listening who doesn't even know what she's good at yet, where should she start?
Oh my gosh, it's so hard. It's so hard. I'm not
Yeah.
going to act like it's easy, but I'm going to keep saying passion. Think about what you're good at, but also your interests. Sometimes it
Mhm.
could come from just an interest, like makeup by Jamie Lo really started because I was really interested in it and I started to have the time, right? Because that's another thing that we haven't
Yeah.
talked about. Like, what is something that you can do that you're passionate about, but that you also have the time for? Because I didn't have time to bust up crayons and make wine bottles. I had two little kids
Yeah,
in my house.
for sure.
So, really think about strategically, like, what are you really good at? And how can you then take those talents and create something with it, whether it's a service,
Hmm.
or it's a product, whatever
Hmm.
it is, you can do it. You can
Oh,
do it
100%.
all. You can do it all. We're all doing it all.
Exactly.
I think of like how, even just like I graduated college in a recession, right?
Yeah.
I'm in a generation that takes on a ton of student loan debt, right?
Yep.
I have to think outside the box. Have to think outside the box.
For sure. And it's just like it doesn't help to just sit there and just be sad that this is what we're left with. It's actually
Nope.
a little bit exciting to know all the possibilities that there are that we can do. Like
Yes.
it's really insane, especially I just feel like moms, like it almost is that mama bear kind of takes over control and she's like, "Now, we're going to figure this
Mhm.
out and we're going to make this work." But you also got to like it because it is a lot of work. So
That
it's
was a
like,
Yeah, that was exactly how it happened for me. My husband's job was not doing well, since then, and I didn't really
yeah,
share a lot about it, but he's been laid off and not currently, but like we've
yeah,
gone through it. And so
yeah.
there are times when I feel like I'm carrying the team. Have there been years past when he is? Absolutely, but we are a team and if he's unable to figure it out in the moment, I'm going to figure it out. That's it. That's how I am.
Yeah, no, I think it just says so much about you as a person and other moms that are just like you. Like it is a team. It's a team effort
Mhm.
and just knowing like, hey, like, you know, it's not his moment right now. I'm going to step up to the plate. And then when it's not my moment, I know he's going to step up to the plate. Oh my
Exactly.
goodness. Yeah. So that being said, what does a money hungry mama mean to you?
Oh my gosh, just be driven and just do it all. Do it all. Be a great mom, but also have things that are meaningful for yourself. You owe it to yourself. We have one life. We have one life. That's it. We're here for a short time. And so, I just feel like make the most of it, truly.
100%. Oh my gosh, chills. I always get chills when I ask that question. Like I love what everybody comes up with, but no, 100%. We do. We have one
That's
life.
it.
Like after it with everything that you have.
Yep.
And then,
And I want my kids, like I said, I want them to have better than I did. And I'm already
yeah,
doing that. I feel like I'm already
yeah,
giving them a better life than my parents did as much as they could, but we struggled. And I just
yeah.
did not want that for my kids.
Yeah. No, and they're gonna also, like they're watching you. They're
Yep.
seeing, you guys figuring it out. They're seeing you work as a team. They're seeing those, 3 weeks out of the year that are gonna make for a great summer. So,
Hmm.
they're gonna see all those and they're gonna totally appreciate that in the future.
That was also really important to me. And that was a big motivating factor for me to go back and get my master's degree because I wanted
Mhm.
them to know the value of education and when you love something, putting hard work into it. So that was also something that was really important to me.
For sure. For sure. Yeah. And education, I do feel like in any aspect, whatever avenue you choose, you need to educate yourself in doing it. Like I'm not
Yep.
talking just college. I'm talking literally any
Anything, a trade,
business.
anything.
Yep. Any business, any side hustle, literally look at everybody that's doing it, just like Jamie did. She
Mhm.
found all those makeup artists and she found that they were doing classes. Just educate yourself in whatever you're going to do because there are going to be downtimes. There's always a downtime, but
Yeah,
you'll know what to do and you'll know how to fix it to get back on the uptick.
exactly. I agree.
Oh my goodness. So what's something you wish someone had told you earlier in your hustle journey?
Hmm. Oh gosh, I never even thought about that question. That's a tough one. I would say like just how much hard work it would be, but I don't know. I feel like I kind of knew that. So
Yeah.
maybe just you just needed some encouragement. I wish that somebody told me sooner to do it. Does that make sense? Like I wish that
Yeah.
somebody was yeah, like I wish that it was just like, "Hey, like you have this idea, like go for it."
100%.
Because I question myself a lot, and I'm sort of like, is this does this make sense? Do people think it's weird that I do all these things? I really it's terrible to do that to yourself, but I do sometimes.
I said, I don't know one person that doesn't say that to themselves.
Yeah, yeah, and it's good to feel like other people feel that way, you know?
Oh, 100%. And I think it's just that's what's so nice is hearing that everybody thinks that oh, does people think that this is weird that I'm doing so many things? But I will say the great Mel Robbins always says, if they're not in your four walls or paying your bills, why do you care? And I think it took me so long for that to click.
Me too. Me too.
It's crazy. It's crazy.
Absolutely.
Like this is
Yep. But
terrifying.
then yes, and then I think of absolutely. And I give you so much credit. I can't even imagine. It's just like but this is stuff like you're doing such an amazing thing because it's not talked about. It's not women working like it's not talked about. Like some of us are literally like out earning our husbands and doing all the things and still being amazing moms and being present and being at all
Mhm.
the soccer games and the basketball games and the baseball game, like we're doing it all. Like I just am so proud of the women that I have met and the entrepreneurs that I have met. Like I just even in my own neighborhood, there are so many women doing so many things, but also being there for their kids. And it's beautiful.
Yeah, yeah, and honestly, that is so well said because that's the whole point of this is for
Hmm.
the women to find women to know that we could do this, to know, you're sitting here right now, but hopefully somebody's listening to this episode and all of a sudden they're going to go find the makeup artist and they're going to start their career wherever they may be. And I just think
Yeah.
that's what makes social media and all of this so incredible because you can reach people far and wide and you
Yeah.
never know who is going to say the thing that makes a click for you. Like
Exactly.
there's could be 1,000 people that say, "Oh, you should try this. You should try this. You should try this." But Jamie said it in a way that Jamie said it, and
Yeah.
now you're going to go try it, which makes it just it's beautiful and it gives me such chills.
Yeah.
So, what's one piece of advice people would normally pay for in your field, but you're willing to give away for free today?
Gosh. Should I talk about makeup? Should I talk about teaching? What? A piece of advice, say it again, a piece of advice that someone would pay for.
Mm.
Should I give a makeup tip?
Yes, definitely a makeup tip.
Okay.
I think at this point we're looking for those
Okay.
hustles.
Skin prep is key. You could have the
Okay.
most beautiful eye makeup in the world, but if your skin is not skinning, it is no good. So I would say make sure you're exfoliating,
Okay.
moisturizing, and finding a really good facial oil. And that is your whole base. You do not need a makeup primer. Let all of that soak into your skin for 3 to 5 minutes and then start applying your makeup.
Wow.
Is that a good
Okay,
one?
so I'm like listening to myself. I'm like, maybe if I heard this before
Like,
my third day, I would have been able to put my makeup on. So exfoliate,
yep, exfoliate,
hydrate,
moisturize, yep. Then do
and then
a facial oil because it gives you like a glow from within.
okay, what's a facial oil that you recommend? Because I'm gonna go buy it.
I use a really simple Burt's Bees rosehip oil. Like it's a facial
Oh,
oil. It's made of rose hips, and I've used it on a lot of clients, and I get a lot of some good feedback from it.
Burt's Bees rosehip oil. I'm gonna go buy
Yeah,
that.
it's just
Oh my
just Burt's
gosh.
Bees,
Yeah.
like the lip balm.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm
They make a
telling you.
facial oil.
Oh,
Yeah, you don't always have to spend a lot of money. A lot of people think like the higher end products are always the be all end all. Nope, not necessarily. So,
yeah.
like that, I think that's around $15 to $17 a bottle. It'll last you probably a month or two, and
That's great.
not too bad.
Yeah. I like Elf too. I don't know. I just want their
Yes.
lotion.
Yes.
Yeah, I like that.
Their eyebrow pencils are so silky smooth. Like, everybody talks about the Charlotte Tilbury, and while I like it, it's not very forgiving. So once you put it on, it's very hard to move that product. And so I always tell people begin with Elf. Like, try out their products. They're very, not that they're even underrated, because honestly, people know that it's good, but
Yeah.
it doesn't have to cost $1 million.
Yeah. I think that's so true. I can't tell you how many products that I bought just because I'm gonna
Mm-hmm.
say it. I'm
I
gonna
do it
age
too.
myself here. I'm literally gonna age myself. Like watching an influencer and them tell me that it was a good purchase, but I just gave them money and then I spent $70 on a product that did
Yes.
not work for me at
Yep.
all. Now,
All the time.
dang, you were definitely wearing something else. There's
Yeah,
no
absolutely. It happens all the time, and it's like
Yeah.
infuriating because I do makeup and I've even fallen for it. I'm like, oh, okay, let me put that in my kit. People must really like it. And then the thing is, if it doesn't work for my client or doesn't work for me, I just wasted the money.
Yep. Yes. I can't tell you how much money I've wasted. And then
Oh
I
yeah.
literally just went to the store and tried Elf, and I was like, wow, this is better than that $70 bottle that I just bought. So
Mm-hmm.
that's
That
inappropriate.
that
It's thir-
halo glow is so good. I tell people all summer long, once I have a little bit of color, that's all I use on my skin in the summertime. The halo, it's like $10. Yeah.
My gotta go buy it. I gotta go buy it. That's it. Oh, you're gonna see the next time I talk to you, I'm gonna be like, look at my makeup, and I'm just gonna
It's
send you a
so
picture of my
good.
Elf.
It's so
Everything's Elf.
good.
My goodness, Jamie, thank you so much for being here with us today.
Thank
It
you.
was an absolute pleasure to have you.
It was so nice meeting you. This was so fun. I hope that it inspires everyone. But, even if it can reach one or two people, like I'm happy with
Mm.
that. Really.
Said with a teacher heart. Thank
Yes.
you so much. It was an absolute pleasure. And everybody else, we'll talk to you soon.
Bye.